There, we're going to be doing something a little different, and that's interviews with some of the players who made trophy hunting for unicorns possible. And this is one of my best friends, Dan Leu, from West Unity, Ohio, where I'm also from, and he's probably the closest thing I have to a brother. We've known each other since grade school, right?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, we both saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan and decided we want to be musicians. And here we are in the tender age of,
Nah,
tender age of
We
way
won't-
up there.
we just won't
and
talk
we're
about that.
still working on it. So Dan played on a bunch of tunes on this. Played on a song called Screens, a thing called Abundantly, a thing called Mountaintops, and a song called When the Grid Goes Down. Now, I wrote all those, and Dan helped, especially with Mountaintops, came up with a lot of really wonderful acoustic leads. But Dan wrote one song on this with one of the really coolest titles I've ever heard. It's called Anachronistic Anachronism. I'll say that fast 3 times. I'll buy you a drink. But anyway, he wrote the music to that. Sean Browning heard it. I had played some rough copies for Sean, just to let him know what we're doing in the studio. He absolutely loved the song, but he said, you know, it sounds like it needs lyrics. I said, well, I didn't write the song, Dan did. So I put he and Dan together, and they came up with the lyrics. Sean did the vocals, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Dan has this really nice guitar. Like I said, we've been playing together since high school.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've been playing together since the period of time when there were only 3 TV stations and they went off at midnight. So that was a while back. And Dan has a 1970 Les Paul that he got new that year. It's the same year that I got the Fender P-Bass that I played in Petra through all those years. You got a couple interesting stories about this guy, right?
Well, yeah, I like to brag. It came when I originally got it. They had the frets were a shaved fret, which it was designed for. They told me it was designed for jazz players because jazzers don't do a lot of bending. But when you're doing rock, you got to be able to slam those notes, and it was kind of tough. So I was fortunate enough to run into Phil Keaggy, and I asked him, well, where do you take your guitars? And I can't remember the place. It was just a little business somewhere over around Cleveland. So I took it down there and they refretted it, put these nice big jumbos where you can really slam the strings. And actually they're still there. And I believe it was like 1976, 77. So that place was a good place. Really good place.
You said Katie played that guitar at one time.
Yeah, I get to brag about that too. Phil Snyder had him playing at one of the local fairs. County fairs. I can't remember which one it was. But Phil came down, but he didn't bring his guitars. So a fellow named Dave Root, he had a gold top, and then I had the black one, and we just said, sure. Okay, you play our guitars? Sure. So we gave Phil his choice. And when I showed up, he's playing mine, but he had popped the volume knob off of mine and put the one from Dave's because it was a little rounder, which gave him it made it easier to do those volume swells he's really good at. And let's see, when I first got it, a fellow named Dwayne Clark and I got a hold of Dwayne, and we took it over to show Bob Hartman of Petra. Bob was actually originated in this area with
Brian, Ohio.
Yeah. He was basically everybody's idol if you play guitar. So we took it over there and he took it downstairs in their practice room, cranked it up and wailed a little bit. Then Dwayne told me later, now Bob, at this time he was playing an SG, and Dwayne told me later Bob made the comment, he didn't really like a Les Paul because when he went to play high, it was like playing a 2x4 because it does get kind of chunky up there, but you just snap. You don't know how to do it. Keaggy has no problem. He doesn't.
We're gonna go out on a limb here and play a little bit of the song that Dan wrote.
Anachronistic Anachronism.
That's right.
Just because John can't pronounce it
That's
right.
what it's called. I can't spit that word out. I can spell it, but
I can't spell
write
it.
Well, I can spell it. Anyway,
So
we're
it all
gonna
evens out. It will even
we
out.
are going to attempt to
Just
play a little
fret
bit of this. We have not played together since we were in the studio, which was months ago, and it's taken longer than we thought to get the physical CDs out. And so, like I said, this is the first time we played together in months.
Oh yeah.
So
It's been quite a while.
you're in for a treat, perhaps. So count it off.
Oh, I thought you were just going to start.
No, you're counting off.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not really. Well, that's your blues song.
Yeah, that's the blues
That
lick.
doesn't
but I-
belong in Anachronistic Anachronism.
Well, I just threw it in so we'd have an ending.
You don't even know your own
I
songs.
know, I don't. Okay. Which we just played part of the song title.
That was noodling. Anachronistic noodling.
All right, thank you.
Anachronistic noodling.
Dan wrote the lyrics for this, and like I said, Sean Browning heard it, or Dan wrote the music for this, and Sean Browning heard it and loved it, and thought, well, it needs words, and so I put the two of them together, and what you hear on the CD is what they came up with, and it's I kind of think of it since it was Curtis's idea, Curtis the drummer, to stick it in the middle of the album, and the idea faded in and then faded out. I kind of look at it like it's the project's cousin Eddie. It just shows up unannounced, does its thing, and then leaves. But it's really cool. You hear this jazz and prog rock, and then this wonderful bluegrass, bluegrass, what am I talking about? Help me here.
Well, that's the gray hair.
Yeah,
It
not
happens,
bluegrass.
folks. It will be
Rockabilly. You hear
happening.
this wonderful rockabilly thing just kind of creep its way into your imagination. And Dan just really outdid himself on that one. And he also did some really great things on the acoustic
Plus,
song.
we can't forget the Curtis George elbow abuse.
Oh yeah, you gotta listen to the drum solo on this. It's brilliant too.
Oh, the elbow thing was just, it was
Yes,
great.
he goes, whoop, well, that's Curtis with his elbow on his floor tom. It's just really, really cool. Well, I still have this. I found this at a guitar show in Indianapolis. I didn't know exactly what it was. It's a Carlo Robelli, which the Sam Ash music stores use as their student models. I'd never thought about getting an acoustic bass because I figured you got amp it, you got mic it, what's the point? But I got a heck of a good price, so I figured why not? And it just sounds like, sounds like an upright. And I'm never going to change the strings on it unless one of them breaks. And I use this on Anachronism, used it on the blues tune, and Mountaintops. So it's throughout the album. And Dan used his really wonderful Les Paul and everything that he played on it.
I really was trying to find a Gretsch for Anachronism, but I just didn't have the time. Were limited on our time, but a Gretsch would really had some real nice tones, I think.
Oh, you got any licks you want to talk about? Anything in any of the other songs that you?
No, let them buy the CD and learn them.
Okay. Dan also played on a song called Mountaintops, which I wrote the acoustic guitar part underneath, but then John McCorkle and Dan did all the heavy lifting, beautiful solo stuff over the top. And Curtis kind of struggled with the drum thing because it was just really an odd timing, wasn't it? It was just really different. And so all four of us put that one together. And I have to thank Tim Bouchon, our producer, for kind of showing us exactly what to do with the song. But we got an interesting story. You remember seeing Phil Keaggy in Toledo, Ohio? You don't? Come on.
I remember seeing him in Columbus with Glass Heart.
Okay, this would have been 1971, and in Ohio, in 1971, if you were 18, you could go to a bar. I had just turned 18, and so it was Dan, myself, Bob Hartman, a guy by the name of Larry Custer, and a good friend of ours that Dan graduated with by the name of Al Horning. Now, Al Horning, and it's quite a history with music. He was Petra's originally he was our roadie, sound man, go-to guy. But after Petra re-raised itself, he put together a lighting company of his own. Do you know the name of his company? He did a lot of work. I remember him talking about working with Barbara Mandrell, but he spent how many years with Carmen?
13, I believe.
Yeah. Al was on the road with Carmen. He was his main lighting guy. And anyhow, the five of us crammed ourselves into Larry Custer's Volkswagen Beetle, and we went to Toledo, Ohio, to a club called the Agora to see Glass Harp. It was Keaggy's three-piece band before he went solo. And I know for sure it's 1971, fall of 1971, because I had just turned 18. And that was quite an experience to see.
I don't remember, sorry.
Well, we kept hearing these stories about this brilliant guitar player. Yeah, and it was Hartman who told us the stories about him. It was Hartman who told us about Joe Walsh.
Yeah, James Gang.
So,
came back and told us this band's going to break.
Yeah.
James Gang, right?
And we actually, I know you went to this one. We saw James Gang front Chicago at the University of Toledo Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
It was the first James Gang album came out. So that's the rock and roll history for you young ones out there. Yes, back when real music played on real instruments by real musicians. Live, yes, with all kinds of people around.
All mistakes kept in.
Yes, every bit of them. So, hey, thank you.